Okay, now Krishna Kumar Tiwari, he has completed his MTech from IIT-BH. He has 10 years of industrial experience in the field of machine learning and AI. Now he has achieved 40 under 40 data science, and he will deliver a talk regarding project aspects in machine learning and AI. Okay, now start this lecture.
Great.
Okay, Krishna, you start.
So thanks, Pradeep, for the great introduction. Let me see that if you people are able to see my screen. You're able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Great. So actually, this is a QR code which you can use to access this presentation. So if you want to check out this link and maybe explore something after this session, you can go ahead and check it out on this link. Okay. Now, this when you open this, it will lead to this talk. Okay, and you can access the slides and you can also access the code also from here. Okay, so going ahead. Mhm. Yeah. So first of all, namaste all of you, and thanks for IIIT Bhagalpur and Pradeep and all the students who joined for this session. Uh, Myself, Krishna Kumar Tiwari, an architect at Innovi, and I'm also a 40 under 40 data scientist. Okay, and I have my friend Kshatresh, if you're able to see. So this is also an ML practitioner, technology enthusiast, having 10 plus years of experience. So today the agenda is we are going ahead and we are planning to show you how you can utilize the different kind of offerings of MLAI community and how you can grow in this field. Okay, and let's move forward. So if you see this particular, if you're able to see this, this is also a QR code. If you want to check out our previous talks or sessions, what we will delivered in Next Gen Leadership Summit or any of the conferences, you can directly go to this link and you'll find all the videos and links on this particular URL. Okay. So what's the agenda? So agenda for today is we will first discuss what is a AI, ML, DL, data science, and all those things, and is this reality or just a buzzword? Okay. Then we'll move, and pretty much I think everyone in this class will agree to the points that it's no more a buzzword right now. But then we'll move forward for the what ML AI community is and what kind of offering we have and what we don't do actually, that we are calling it out explicitly, and also if you are interested, if you need to start a project, how you can start a project, what kind of mentorship you will get, what kind of projects you can do in this. Okay, and finally we'll leave with some kind of challenger and possibilities which you guys can basically tackle. Okay, so start. So if we see, right, if you see this particular plot, right, so the importance here is yeah, actually all of you and we are speaking, we are able to identify objects, we are able to speak, we are able to learn on daily basis. Okay, so that is basically somehow one thing is very interesting in everyone is we are able to think actually. Okay, and that's the end goal of AI. Okay, so we want our systems to be as smart as the humans are, or more than humans actually. And the primary things which system misses right now is the thinking process or logical reasoning we give for all those kind of problems which is solved on the daily basis. Okay, similarly coming back to ML, DL, it's a kind of machine learning is a kind of a subset or a domain where you can assume that all the main techniques will come from machine learning, which is helping you to basically come up with systems which are AI enabled systems. If you go deep and if you deal with large volume of data, you are dealing with more complex models. And if you are especially going for a kind of a layering based systems, that will come under deep learning. And I will focus more on this data science part because pretty much when we say right now, if you go to any of the industry or if you join any company or if you go in a kind of a research in future, you will realize that people are using this term that, okay, we want to do something in data science side or maybe I'm solving a data science kind of a problem, right? So data science is a kind of a thing right now, which is an interdisciplinary what is a concept, yeah, inclusive, where you have utilizing the power of interdiscipline. For example, in this case we are utilizing the power of math, statistics, visualization, EDA tools, and also in parallel with deep learning and machine learning techniques, right? And what opportunity this gives is, even if you're coming from any kind of background, if you're coming from any kind of what to say branch, at least if I talk about engineering terms, right? You're coming from civil to computer science, everyone has opportunity to come up with solutions or come up with problems which can be solved using data science. So that's the beauty of the this particular domain. And why that is important is, if you see the human behavior change, for example, maybe all of the students will be using some kind of a time videos, Netflix, or you will be using DC, okay, or when you go to Google search and when you type something, right? You want that system should treat you as a special person, some kind of a VIP person, that it should know that you like this kind of movies, or you like this kind of subjects, or you like you maybe you will be interested in, when you're searching for a Jaguar, you will be interested in a car, not a animal, okay? So all those kind of insights you expect from the system, and that's why if you see from last 10 years the changes, people are building smarter platforms. So previously people were focusing on building just platforms, just products, but now people are thinking that no, that's not enough, because the user behavior, or especially the student behavior itself, is changed, okay? So you need to come up with smarter platforms or smarter products which are data science enabled or AI enabled. So whenever you see all these terms, you can assume that things are getting built based on these concepts. And maybe as you, everyone will be on LinkedIn or maybe following Tesla or any of like their dream companies, right? So you'll be knowing that people are working on problem statements which are in computer vision domain, or people are working on making chatbots and all those things, right? So those all are actually become reality. So it's not a buzzword, and it has the tremendous potential where if someone focus on this and utilize the power of interdiscipline and use those concepts, it will be quite it has all those which you people can utilize actually. Now, when you come to the kind of the problems in this domain, so it's not a defined set, but pretty much people say that okay, machine learning is a kind of what you say backbone for all this AI and anything when we talk about data science on all those things, right? So you'll be knowing that okay, we can have some kind of supervised problems, we can have unsupervised, or we can have reinforcement problems. Okay, so this slide you can be pretty much, maybe you can skip it, but I'll just give a brief that when we talk about supervised or maybe unsupervised, pretty much we are talking about, and everyone uses email, right? So you know that okay, some messages are getting marked as spam. Okay, that is happening because of an ML algorithm is learning that okay, this is a spam for this particular person. Okay, so all those kind of, so it's basically classifying that this particular message is a spam message or a ham message. It's a clear message or it's a fraud message. Okay. Similarly, if I take the example of the students which are sitting here, right? So if I take all of you, and maybe if I need to do some kind of a grouping, saying that okay, I want to have people who like maybe mathematics. I want to have people who like maybe physics, or maybe I want to have a group of people who like chemistry. So all these, when we don't come from machine learning world, we'll say that okay, we want to do some kind of a grouping, right? So those things we have comes in the unsupervised learning, which we call it as clustering algorithms. And the primary thing is we can go deep on this, but I think you can read a lot of articles on this and you can understand what is the primary difference between supervised and unsupervised. So I'll keep this question open to you guys, and I'll want whoever is the beginner should invest some maybe 5-10 minutes after this talk to understand all those terms. Okay. Now coming back to the reinforcement learning, right? So as you see this example, we see that okay, people are building robots who are able to think in a direction that the way human brain thinks, right? Or maybe if they are walking, right, they are able to identify where are the obstacles and all those things, right? So it's happening based on the kind of action you are taking and the kind of feedback or the kind of result you are getting, right? So the way human learns, same way we have the reinforcement learning approaches, which can there are a variety of problems that can be solved using this kind of domain, right? Uh, now, uh, as when we started, when I and Kshatresh started actually this part. So the objective of what you say, this community is when we were a student, I think 10 plus years back at IIT-BH, Deep was our batchmate itself. At that time, I'll say that this particular say domain was a buzzword. People were working on this, but it the situation was like in that way that you're not able to find much of a real world solution which was existing there. Okay, but now if you see pretty much any of the things which you're using, right? It's people will say that it's a data science or AI or ML enabled, right? So now, like the concept is like uh, we face that problem that if you want to have the right mentorship, suppose someone is planning to have a kind of decided to go in the industry, okay, how he can become the industry ready. Suppose you are going for a research kind of a thing, okay, how you can choose a topic which is much more relevant to the kind of problem world faces, okay, and how you can bridge the gap between this kind of academic research and the industry research. So we realized that our interest lies in a field where we wanted to bridge the gap between the academics and the industry, and that lead us to create an open source platform like MLAI community. You can go to ml-ai.in to check it out more. And because we are so we love open source and we also love code. So that's why the basic building blocks for this particular community is the GitHub repo. Maybe the first year or second year guys, maybe it will be difficult for you to understand what is GitHub, but that is also a key point you can note, and that is a must know thing for all of you if you're planning to have something in production in future. If you want to build something which Word can use, definitely you need to productionize it, and you will need some kind of a code maintenance and versioning feature. Okay, and you can go for multiple more options, but GitHub is one of the best. Okay. Now, when we thought more on this, right, we realized that the power of this community is not just the code part. Because it believes in giving back to the community. What it means is like we came from a campus. How much I'm able to contribute to where I'm living in my workplace, and also to the things which I've touched, maybe in my campus or maybe the surrounding I live with. Okay, how I can utilize my knowledge to give back to the society. That is also a kind of a motto behind it. And also the interdisciplinary knowledge. For example, I came from a computer science background. Kshatresh came from a computer science background. Maybe someone of you will be coming from a different kind of a background also. Okay, maybe from electronics, or maybe someone could be from the computer civil mechanical and all those things, right? So whatever you're learning in those fields, right, those all if we combine and if we do a right kind of a brainstorming there, right, I believe that a lot of ideas can come and that can help to solve a very challenging problem. Okay, and that lead us to a kind of a creating an environment where we can do a cross learning between industry and institute, and also within the institute also. For example, maybe people will be sitting from third year, fourth year, second year. So fourth year guy can also give mentorship to third year, and maybe likewise you can basically cross learn in your campus itself. Okay, and at last it's an open source, and I think when you grow well, and you'll definitely pretty much I think everyone uses Wikipedia. If you're not coming from a like a technical background also, still you will like Wikipedia because it helps actually. Similarly, if you go for Google search, it helps, right? When you write production ready code, you'll find that a lot of open source code is available, which is basically making your life very easy, a developer's job very easy, because you're finding all those things, right?
To add
Yeah.
what Krishna said, actually, most of the development in data science field has been exponentially grown just
Right.
because that most of the libraries has been
open source. Yeah, and that is actually quite important if you want something for other people to adopt, because if you make something and you make a you take patent of it and you don't want to expose to the world, it will have a limited scope. Maybe people who are capable enough, they will only use it. Okay, but luckily, or maybe that's the right practice also, people have open sourced a lot of libraries, a lot of projects here which you can use to just write a kind of a wrapper on top of it to generate something production ready. So that's the beauty of this tool. Okay. I think you people are able to hear us. Like if you have any questions till date, we can answer or we can go ahead. Good. Yeah. So coming back to the community offerings, right? So we the kind of idea behind the community is we like to empower students, and the empowering students can be done based on providing them the right guidance and right mentorship. And luckily, as people are from a right kind of a college where you are getting right kind of professors who can help you in going ahead and choosing right kind of projects. So you can assume that this community is like a kind of a helping hand to all of the professors and all the students. So you can assume that if you're getting a kind of a out of box thinking, and if you have some idea which you want to convert it to reality, and you want to work on this, okay, and you want any kind of a mentorship from this community, you will get mentors from the academics, you will get mentors from the industry side of things. And that way, what will happen is you'll get all those kind of angles that how you can approach a problem from different mindsets. Okay. And that leads to that will be a kind of a, what you say, like-minded people group who are working on a kind of a problem. And that will be, I am pretty much sure, and based on our experience in the past, it's a kind of a win-win situation for everyone. Okay. Now coming back to the gap which I discussed, right? So many times when you go for higher studies, or maybe when you're doing your BTPs and all those times, right? You look forward for some kind of a topic which is somehow related to the research, and at the same time you want to stuck with something, or you want to be close enough with the industry requirements if you are planning to go become an industry ready kind of thing, right? Or maybe if you're doing a research project also, still you will like to find areas which are which is word is demanding, right? So all those can also, all those kind of a discussion, all those kind of a like-minded kind of a discussion can also happen within this community. Okay. Now coming back to the kind of avenues where you can apply the AI solutions. Definitely, you can it's coming from different kind of branches or interdisciplinary things. It's a plus actually, and that will definitely help us to push the boundaries of the kind of application, the kind of projects, or the kind of contribution we can do to the world. Okay, and that's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah, and to make that point more clear, actually, the most of the users of data science right now is from most of the demand is coming from finances, marketing, and health sector. So, if you think about it, these are not traditional in a traditional sense. These are not the field of computer science per se, but recent development in data science is finding some value in these fields too.
Yes.
So what we think is like, okay, right now the demand is coming from only these sectors,
Right.
and we can increase this. Means we can push, the further boundary of data science.
Great. Yeah. That makes complete sense, and that is the reason it's not a buzzword right now, and it's actually the reality, and that's why the industry and academics, everyone is focusing on it. Yeah. Uh, what we don't do, actually, we will like to call out this part specifically. We are not a place for any kind of commercialization, not a kind of a certification, not a coaching institute, or don't have any kind of sponsorship. So this doesn't come under the boundary of the current MLAI community, because we focus primarily on the voluntary basis mentoring and doing right kind of projects, right kind of research within the community with the like-minded people. Okay.
So I would want to focus, explain
So now let's start on how to start a project on MLA community. So as we have discussed, this is the place where you can get all these kind of mentorship, right? So the simplest way to start a project is you can go through this kind of a template where you are providing the project name, which, for example, in this case, maybe expression detection of human face, if you want to do. Then give us the kind of objective you want and what is the current approach you have in your mind. Uh, the current approach is not a mandatory field. If you don't have, still that's fine. Similarly, you can give us the name and what affiliation you have either with a college or a company, and you can also rate us what kind of ML experience you have. So based on that, it will be easy for us to assign a kind of a mentor, or maybe people who are looking forward to join this kind of a project can decide on creating the right pod. Okay, so this is the kind of a template which you can use, and you can click here to basically check out our LinkedIn page. I think most of you guys has already joined the LinkedIn page, so it will be just straightforward. You can use this template and start a project there itself. Okay, so this is the easiest way to start, simplest way to start. Now if you want to showcase something, and you want to go ahead with the process of brainstorming, or you want to choose project which we already have, uh, this flowchart will help you to understand like to how to go ahead. For example, if you are a learner and if you have some kind of project in mind, then I'll highly recommend check out this link. One second. Um, Check out this link. Yeah, so you'll get the kind of project which is going on right now. One of the my favorite project is library go, so you can choose what kind of project you want to do. If you're liking something from here, you can drop a mail at reachmla@gmail.com. And if you don't like, and if you want to again explore something, so in that case you can post your questions, post your thoughts on this LinkedIn group. uh, Similarly, if you are in a phase that you know what kind of project you want to do, then submit your project proposal from the MLA community project proposal form, and you can find a teammate using this particular LinkedIn group. Finally, all the code, everything will go to this MLA community GitHub forum. So make sure to fork this repo and contribute, follow all the code practices. All the code reviews will be done by someone from the community side, so you can make sure that you will be getting the right guidance to write production ready code. Yeah. So few pointers as find your problem of interest, submit your proposal. You should have a GitHub account for sure. You can have a kind of write up, and you can brief the problem statement. Uh, Cloning the GitHub repo which we have already shown. So all those things you need to do to start a project. Okay. Uh, Usually any of the project in MLA committee will follow this life cycle where we'll define the scope of the project, then we'll do a kind of a research to find out the right kind of a modeling to solve that issue, solve that problem. Then we'll go ahead and develop that, and we'll, if needed, we'll go ahead with the deployment process also. uh, I don't have much time to cover this part, but you can go ahead and check out the code here, and that represent how to do kind of a fraud text classification. Yeah. These are the prerequisites to start in MLA committee. You should have a GitHub account. You should have the Python, right? Python versions installed. We recommend Anaconda. You can use any kind of IDs which you want, either Jupyter Notebooks, VS Code, or any kind of IDs. Preferably install TensorFlow and Keras also. If you're a lover of PyTorch, we are pretty much open. You can use that too. Oh, this is an interesting slide where basically what we want to do is we want to have a kind of projects, what kind of projects we run actually. So definitely, your innovation is the first choice for MLA community, and uh, if you see the kind of project divisions or the project hierarchy we divide the projects in three parts. We have kind of mini projects, we have flagship projects, and we have moonshot projects. So when I talk about mini projects, it will be kind of an assignment projects. Suppose you are a college student and you want to work on some kind of a assignment which you want to submit in your uh, college or for a particular coursework. Those all will come as a mini project. Here also you will get a mentor. Few of the examples which is currently going on is mentioned here, like a kind of a movie recommendation in your campus, maybe on your DC. What kind of a subject to recommend to a student? All those kind of problem statements can be solved by uh, existing uh, ML techniques, and a lot of literature exists here. So that will your more focus will be on a kind of a development part. As we mentioned about the scoping and the research, I can say that the research part will be a little less in kind of a mini projects. Now coming back to the flagship project, so this will require research actually. So for example, if you want to solve something like pose detection or maybe kind of a road condition prediction or immersion prediction, in those cases it will be a little complex than mini projects, and it will have a, a window of research, and then it will move to the deployment and uh, development and deployment. Now, the USP of this MLA committee is the moonshot projects. So those projects are like what to say. Those are complex enough that you'll not have the answer in the first go, and you need to define the right kind of a scope. You need to define uh, you need to do a lot of research to come back with the right approaches. And there is a high possibility that whatever approach you choose, it will fail. So it will require a lot of iteration to come back with the right kind of modeling in this. Okay, so those all kind of projects comes under moonshot projects. Right now we have two. One is library go and one is skin disease prediction. So I'll just take 2 minutes on the library go parts, where what you're doing is you are basically uh, making a system like Amazon Go kind of a system for library. So that will be kind of a very useful project for many of the college campuses. So that is what we're trying to do. This is few of the resources which we recommend, and it's recommended for anyone who want to learn ML. You can go through this links after this class maybe. So at last, as mentioned in the agenda itself, the final objective is to throw some kind of a challenge and the opportunities you have. So I'll say that why not to make your campus AI enabled campus. Many of the places I visited many of the campuses in the past, and I see people are focusing more on the certification part. People are focusing more on uh, working on some kind of projects which can uh, deliver some kind of a assignment work or maybe kind of internship or a job, right? But in the whole process what you're missing is you're not giving back anything to your campus or not making anything which is substantial in your life. Okay, so why not to come up together and make a platform where uh, people from the colleges are working on the ML problems, which when we combine at the last can become a an AI enabled platform. Okay, why not to make AI enabled campus? For in this case, I can say if you people are um, like good enough or interested in ML, maybe you can choose how to detect a proxy, how I can know that people are paying attention in the class or not, how to recommend a subject to a student, uh, how to do a kind of movie recommendation in the DC. Okay, how to make our internal networking more stronger. Okay, so all those kind of problems can be list out, and we can go ahead and solve this, and definitely this MLA committee will help you in all those aspects. So I'm looking forward from all of you guys to basically come to the platform and submit your proposals. And even if you're stuck and if you don't know what needs to be done, you can ask us, you can reach out to our WhatsApp group, you can reach out to our LinkedIn group, or you can reach out through our website. Okay, and you can let us know what kind of work you want to do. Okay, and even if you don't know what you want to do, still it's fine, you can just showcase your interest. We'll definitely assign something which you can start with. So at last I'll say these are the links which you can basically remember, and mm, the first one will be the link to our MLA community, second one will be to the code link which I've shared, so that will give you a path, especially for the beginners, to know how to walk through ML problem. So at last, thank you guys. Our motto is grow together, keep learning, keep sharing. So looking forward to work with you all. Thank you. Bye bye.